So if you're thinking of potentially using acquisitions as a strategy within your business, within your brand, I want to take you through the 7 deal stacks that we use, and you may find this interesting because we're thinking out of the box a little bit here. But let me take you through how we could work together over the next few years to build out your company. So you're starting with your platform business. That's the business you're running right now. So let's, for the argument's sake of this example, we're going to use a health and well-being company in the health and well-being space. So the first thing to look for is kind of the low-hanging fruit, which is competitors. The whole purpose of buying your competitors to take them out of the market is to get their brand underneath your brand. You can consolidate, you can cross-sell, you can do all sorts of things. But it's basically the market share strategy that you're going after, and that's again very low-hanging fruit. It's the first ones that we would look at doing. But I want to take you through a few others. Cross over here to number 2. And number 2 is buying digital media assets. What do I mean by that? Well, we're sticking with the health and well-being space company as our example. If you think of all the people who are interested in health and well-being, and the company is obviously seeking to get in front of those people. If you go to Facebook, or you go to LinkedIn or Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, all of the social media platforms, there are countless thousands of groups, of interest groups, of pages, of groups who are interested in the health and well-being space. And you can broaden that out to people interested in veganism, people interested in yoga, people interested in supplements. You get the picture. You can sort of broaden out who that means. But you can, as a business, go to the administrators of those Facebook pages and buy the rights to run that page. And you can't buy the page from any of these guys on Facebook, but you're buying a deal, you're doing a deal with the administrator of these. You go onto the health and well-being space. Some of them have got 20, 30, 40, 50,000 sets of buyers, sets of eyeballs who are looking at their pages all the time. They're interested in posts, they're passionate, so they are ideal buyers for these guys. So by taking over the media, you immediately put yourself in position to talk to these people directly. Could that work for your business? Could you put yourself in a position where you're buying the rights to be in charge of the admin of Facebook pages, as a really good example? Now, it doesn't mean all of a sudden you have to start doing social media, because you would go after the kind of person who's running a Facebook page in this example, but they're not really clear on how to monetize it. You've got the product, you've got the way to monetize it, and by having access now to all of these eyeballs on these pages, you could afford to keep the current admin on to still maintain and run your pages for you. And you'd be doing that on a number of deals and a number of pages. You may end up with 1 or 2 admins who are looking after the whole thing, but giving you access to countless hundreds of thousands of eyeballs. So it's a very, very interesting solution to get yourself right in front of customers. And here you're buying leads. Now, number 3 is teams and systems. Once you've got the leads and you've got that process going, and you're bringing in constant new eyeballs to your products, and so your sales are going up, you're going to need teams and systems, and that helps you with infrastructure. You're going to be you're buying into these businesses for infrastructure. Now, of course, you can set up your own infrastructure, but it takes time. This kind of thing does take time to do. So by buying in infrastructure, you're buying companies that are already up and running. They're doing their teams that are selling other products. So let's say these guys in the health and well-being space, they think it's a really good idea for us to get into retail, but we need salespeople for that. Well, you can start from scratch, or you can buy into teams and the systems that then make all of that happen. And they are already profitable businesses. You're adding revenue to your company. So next thing is you're going to focus on increasing lifetime customer value by buying products and services. So let's say it's not exactly buying a competitor, but it's buying a company that's doing something that would be of interest to your customer base, your core customer base that you have right now. And it's something that you can start to add, and you can start to cross-sell between the two brands, and that will increase revenues on both sides of those deals. So you're really looking after looking after the LTV of your business. Now, moving down to number 5, any company that you write a check to, basically, are in your supply chain. So what about buying companies? All of those companies are making profits. You are a part of the business that they've got. So what about a situation where you buy into your supply and distribution company and you start to take the margins from them, you increase profitability of your core company because you can lower costs for that, whilst also making money and driving revenues from the other business that these guys have already got. So number 5 is all about increasing margins in your business. Number six is buying intellectual property, and it's what if you imagine 2 or 3 years from now, we're getting all these businesses coming into your business group, and companies who private equity or family offices or trade buyers are looking at your company and they're interested. What they would really like to see is indestructible IP, something that's within your business that can't really be copied. It's too tricky to copy. It's a very secret thing. It's got the copyright on it. Some sort of value that is defensible. Once private equity are looking at stuff like that, they're very, very interested in having that within the mix. And finally, number 7, MRR and ARR is monthly recurring revenue and annual recurring revenue. So can you buy other businesses that will give you that, or do you have that already within your business that you can focus on? But can we buy in other companies that will give us additional MRR and ARR? Because again, going back to the end game is to sell your business. Private equity are very, very interested in seeing this kind of thing, and also for raising funds, it's very, very handy. If you go out to and say we want to make a big play, and we do need to get some cash on the table to make this acquisition happen. When we go out to the funding sources that we are connected to Arise, they love to see this. They love to see recurring revenue. They love to see regular money coming in because it helps them to alleviate the risk of lending the money to us to get this deal done. So there's the 7 strategies that we use. I've used health and well-being, but obviously it can work in any sector, in any country. If you think that there's a conversation to be had about how this might work for your business, down below there's a button to book in a meeting. Click it, choose a time that works for you, and let's talk about how this could transfer over to your company.